Hi, past, present, and future homeowners. Welcome back to the Property Buyer's Guide. I'm your homegirl, Justina. So as you know, they tell us that there are two things that are definitely certain in life, and that is death and taxes. And that is why today we're joined by Mrs. Loide Hamutumwa from the Namibia Revenue Agency, where we'll be talking about tax and what exactly these implications are in the home buying process. Welcome, Loide.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for reaching out to NamRA. We are always happy to engage with the public in making awareness how this tax implication and what's need to be sorted out as tax is concerned.
NamRA has been in existence for about 4 years. Can you tell the audience what is NamRA's mandate?
Thank you. Our mandate is a huge mandate. We are championing it very successfully. We've been into operation for 4 years now. Our mandate is to administer the tax laws and customs laws and to collect taxes on behalf of the government. Yes, the applicable tax laws for the purpose of this interview, we have 4 of them.
Okay.
It's the Transfer Duty Act number 14 of 1993. The act is there to impose duty on properties, and it's normally the purchaser who is liable to pay the transfer duties. Then we have the Stamp Duty Act number 15 of 1993. That is for the impositioning of stamp duty, and just to make sure that these instruments are duly stamped. Then we have the Income Tax Act number 24 of 1981, and this is very important because then when you purchase a property and you make an income for that, it will be taxable under that act.
Okay.
And then we have the VAT Act, and that's for if you are registered for VAT, so that act is applicable to you, so you are expected to register for VAT and declare the VAT due to the state.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, quite a few acts there that you listed. Loide, can you tell the audience, what are the tax implications when you're purchasing a property, either for your personal use as a primary residence or as an investment property?
Yes, if you are buying a property for personal use as for your house to live in,
yes,
of course you have to pay the transfer duty and the stamp duty in respect of the instrument exchanged.
And that's at inception when you first purchase the property.
Exactly. Yes, and then of course people ask, what about the fringe benefit, the 1/3 that is given in terms of section 16A of the income tax? Yeah, that is also applicable as a tax benefit, but only on your residential, not on your commercial property.
Okay, on your primary residential property.
Yes, and that's where people sometimes they confuse the two. Yes, and when you are, maybe I should also state that with the new amendments that came last year, the threshold for transfer duty has now increased from 600,000 to 1.1 million. So meaning if you are buying a property with a value of within the amount that I've mentioned, there's nil transfer duty. Yes. So that
was a welcome development. Yes,
exactly. So if you are buying a property for maybe rental or you want to have an Airbnb, the income so generated from that operations, you have to declare it. Okay. And if you are salaried employed, it will then be combined, and then your income together will then go up, and then you'll be taxed at the applicable tax brackets.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've touched on what the tax implications are. Can we then, or can you explain rather what the tax implications are of these two? So I've purchased a property in my personal name, or I've purchased a property for investment purposes. What are the tax implications thereof, or requirements rather? Sorry.
Yes, on ITAS, if you procure a property for investment.
Sorry, for our audience, can you explain to us what is ITAS?
ITAS stands for tax tax integrated administration system.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a system that is used for you to submit your return, and it's an administration tool that NamRA is
So we no longer have to stand in those long lines when we want to submit our taxes?
Of course not.
Okay, you can do it from the comfort of your home?
Definitely.
Okay.
And we have improved on that.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So if you procure a property and it's for commercial use, you are then required to submit on ITAS what we call Schedule 9.
Okay.
That's now when you are required to declare or the property that you have procured, the income that you have generated from the property and the expenses thereof.
Okay.
Because the law also make provision for you to deduct those expenses from the income so received in the production of that income. So if you procure a property just for your residential or what we call primary residential, you are required to complete what we call Schedule 24, where you are just declaring that you have procure a property and you reside there. This is just for information, because at the end of the day, we are not only administering the law, we also need to know who are our taxpayers and what do they own. For tax purposes.
For tax purposes, I understand. So it's not to say just because your rental is X amount, you're going to have to pay taxes on that X amount.
No, you'll then be taxed on the profit thereof.
Okay. So in your previous answer, Loide, you touched on ITAS and submitting your tax returns. So if and when I've purchased a property, when is the relevant time for me to then submit this tax return?
Yes, our tax system is based on self-assessment, and you then assess yourself. If your tax return is due and you have procured the property within that time, you are then required to declare it. So it's now then your annual tax return. When it's due, you must declare it.
Okay.
For businesses, yes, when it's your tax year, you are required to declare the income so received or accrued to you in that tax year. And then you'll be taxed at the appropriate tax rate.
At that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's important, Justina, like you mentioned that tax and death. Of course, we at NamRA, we don't want people to fear to enter into transaction simply because they are fearing of paying taxes. Because you pay taxes for a good cause. At the end of the day, we'll have a social contract which is intact, and government will be able to provide for its citizen. So we encourage taxpayer to reach out to NamRA. They can send an email to legalservices@namra.org.na, and our officials will be gladly able to help them. And at the end of the day, they will have like a constructive ruling on how the law apply to them in that specific transaction.
So thank you very much. It was a very, very informative episode. As you know, this is the Property Buyer's Guide, and we would like to talk all things property. And obviously, it was good for the audience to have an understanding of what these tax implications are when they're purchasing a property.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. And for our viewers at home, don't forget to join us for the next episode of the Property Buyer's Guide next week, Friday. Bye.